Welcome, dear friend. I know you're here because your mind won't quiet, your heart is racing, and anxiety has wrapped itself around you like a heavy blanket. You've come to the right place. Tonight, you don't have to carry this weight alone. Over the next 2 hours, we're going to journey through the Psalms together. Those ancient songs written by people who knew exactly what you're feeling right now. David himself wrote many of these words while running from enemies, hiding in caves, his heart pounding with fear and uncertainty. Yet in his darkest moments, he found something that can quiet your anxious heart tonight. Take a slow, deep breath with me. Let your shoulders drop. Feel your body sink into whatever surface is supporting you right now. You don't have to fix anything tonight. You don't have to solve anything. All you have to do is rest and listen. Father, we invite your presence into this space. Remind this precious soul that they are deeply loved, completely safe in your hands, and worthy of the peace you long to give them. Amen. Maybe you feel lost right now, like you're wandering in a wilderness of worry, unable to find your way back to peace. Your mind keeps spinning with what-ifs and worst-case scenarios, and you wonder if anyone truly sees the depth of your struggle. Listen to what David wrote when he felt this same overwhelming sense of being lost and alone. Psalm 23, verses 1 through 3. The Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He refreshes my soul. He guides me along the right paths for his name's sake. A shepherd. Do you know what that means for you tonight? It means you have someone who is watching over you constantly, not just occasionally checking in, but actively, intentionally, lovingly watching. You're not wandering alone in this anxiety. The Good Shepherd sees exactly where you are, in this very moment, feeling exactly what you're feeling, and he's guiding you toward rest. Those green pastures? They're not just a pretty picture. They represent the peace he wants to give you right now. Those quiet waters? They're the stillness he's offering your racing heart this very moment. Notice what the psalm doesn't say. It doesn't say when you get your life together, or when you stop being anxious. Then he'll lead you to green pastures. No. It says he makes you lie down. He leads you. He refreshes. Right now, in the middle of your anxiety, he's leading you toward rest. Perhaps you're feeling completely overwhelmed tonight, like a massive wave of circumstances is crashing over you, and you're drowning in responsibilities, fears, and pressures. You feel like you can't catch your breath, like everything is too much. David knew this feeling too. Listen to these words from Psalm 46, verses 1 through 3. God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble. Therefore we will not fear, though the earth give way and the mountains fall into the heart of the sea, though its waters roar and foam and the mountains quake with their surging. Did you hear that? Though the earth give way. David is acknowledging that sometimes it really does feel like your whole world is falling apart. The foundations you thought were solid start to shake. The mountains, those things that seemed permanent, stable, they start to crumble. And the waters, they roar and foam with chaos. This isn't David minimizing your struggle. He's saying, even when absolutely everything falls apart, God is still your refuge. A refuge isn't just a place to visit occasionally. It's a stronghold, a fortress, a place of absolute safety where nothing can touch you. And he's not just available to be your refuge, he is your refuge right now. This moment, with your heart pounding and your mind racing, you are already safe in the ultimate shelter. The anxiety you're feeling, it cannot penetrate this refuge. The fears swirling in your mind, they cannot reach. you in this place of safety. Maybe you're battling fear and anxiety so intense it feels paralyzing. Your chest is tight, your breathing is shallow, and worry has taken up residence in your mind like an unwelcome guest that refuses to leave. You've tried everything you know to do, but the fear keeps coming back. Listen to what God says directly to you in Isaiah 41, verse 10. So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. Do not fear, for I am with you. Not, I will be with you someday, or I was with you yesterday. I am with you, right now. This very second as your heart races and your mind spins, He is with you. You are not facing this anxiety alone. You never have been. I am your God. Not just God in general, but your God. Personal, intimate, committed specifically to you. The Creator of the universe has chosen to be in relationship with you, to be responsible for you, to care for you as His own beloved child. I will strengthen you, not you need to be stronger. He will be your strength. When anxiety makes you feel weak and helpless, His strength becomes yours. When fear makes your knees shake, His power holds you up. You don't have to muster strength you don't have. His strength is available to you right now. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. Picture this: the hand that spoke worlds into existence, the hand that parted seas and moved mountains, the hand that holds the universe together. That same hand is holding you right now. Anxiety cannot shake you loose from His grip. Fear cannot make Him let go. You are held by infinite love and unshakable strength. Perhaps you're carrying burdens that feel too heavy for your shoulders. You're exhausted from trying to manage everything, from attempting to control outcomes you have no power over. You feel like you're drowning in responsibilities and worries, and you wonder if anyone understands just how tired you really are. Jesus spoke directly to this exhaustion in Matthew 11, verses 28 through 30. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. Come to me. Not get yourself together first or figure it out on your own. Come as you are. Come weary. Come burdened. Come anxious. Come overwhelmed. Come exactly as you are right now, and He will give you rest. I will give you rest. This is a promise, not a suggestion. Not, I might give you rest if you're good enough, but I will give you rest. The rest He offers isn't just physical sleep, though that's part of it. It's soul-deep rest. It's the kind of rest that comes when you finally stop trying to carry everything yourself and allow someone infinitely stronger to carry it for you. His yoke is easy. His burden is light. A yoke was a wooden beam that connected two oxen so they could work together. When Jesus says, "Take His yoke upon you," He's saying, let's do this together. You don't have to carry your anxiety alone. You don't have to solve everything by yourself. He wants to share the load, to carry what you cannot carry. Maybe your heart has been broken by disappointment, loss, or betrayal. The pain feels crushing, and anxiety has moved in alongside the grief, whispering lies about your worth and your future. You wonder if God sees your broken heart, if He cares about your pain. David wrote these words in Psalm 34, verse 18. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. He is close to the brokenhearted, not distant, not waiting for you to heal before He comes near. He draws close to broken hearts like yours. Your heartbreak doesn't make you untouchable or unlovable. It draws his compassion like a magnet. He specializes in broken hearts. He sees every crack, every tender place, every area that throbs with pain, and he comes close, saves those who are crushed in spirit. Your crushed spirit, the part of you that feels utterly defeated by anxiety and pain, that's exactly who he saves. Not the strong, not the ones who have it all together, but the crushed ones, the overwhelmed ones, the ones who feel like giving up. That's where his salvation shows up most powerfully. You don't have to hide your brokenness from him. You don't have to pretend you're stronger than you are. Your crushed spirit is safe with him. Your anxiety, your fears, your overwhelm, he doesn't see these as weaknesses to be ashamed of. He sees them as invitations to show you his love, his strength, his faithfulness. Perhaps you're feeling abandoned tonight, like everyone has given up on you, like you're too much trouble, too anxious, too broken for anyone to love. The enemy whispers that you're alone, that no one could possibly understand or care about your struggles. Listen to the truth from Romans 8, verses 38 and 39. For I am convinced that neither death nor life, neither angels nor demons, neither the present nor the future, nor any powers, neither height nor depth, nor anything else in all creation, will be able to separate us from the love of God that is in Christ Jesus our Lord. Nothing, absolutely nothing can separate you from his love. Not your anxiety, not your panic attacks, not your racing thoughts or your sleepless nights, not your mistakes or your failures, not your doubts or your struggles to believe. Nothing in all creation has the power to disconnect you from the love that holds the universe together. This love isn't conditional on your performance. It doesn't fluctuate with your emotional state. When anxiety tells you that you're too much trouble, this love says you're worth everything. When fear whispers that you're alone, this love surrounds you like an unbreakable fortress. When overwhelm says you're a burden, this love declares you're treasured beyond measure. Your anxiety cannot make him love you less. Your fears cannot push him away. Your struggles cannot tire him out or make him give up on you. His love for you is as steady as his own character, as unchanging as his very nature. You are anchored in unshakable love. Take a moment to breathe this truth into the anxious places of your heart. Let it sink deeper than your racing thoughts. You are not alone. You are not too much. You are not forgotten. You are held in love that will never let you go. These psalms were written by people who knew anxiety intimately. They didn't write from ivory towers or perfect circumstances. They wrote from caves and battlefields, from seasons of fear and uncertainty that probably felt very much like what you're experiencing right now. And yet, in every single one of these ancient songs, they found something that anxiety couldn't touch: the unshakable presence and love of God. Tonight, as we continue this journey together through more of these healing words, remember that you're not just listening to beautiful poetry. You're receiving living truth that has the power to calm anxious hearts, to quiet racing minds, and to restore peace to souls that have forgotten what rest feels like. You are safe here, you are loved here, and you can rest here. Your mind won't stop racing, will it? Thoughts are spinning like a tornado. What if this happens? What if that goes wrong? What if? What if? What if? Your chest feels tight. Your breathing is shallow. The fear feels so real, so immediate, even when you know logically that most of your worries will never come to pass. This is the exhausting reality of anxiety. And if this is where you are tonight, you're not alone. Jesus knew you would feel this way. He knew there would be nights when your mind would refuse to rest, when tomorrow's uncertainties would steal today's peace. Listen to what he said in Matthew 6, verse 34. Therefore do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. Jesus isn't saying your worries aren't real or valid. He sees the weight you're carrying, not just today's actual troubles, but tomorrow's imagined catastrophes, next week's potential problems, next year's possible disasters. He understands that anxiety doesn't just deal with what's happening now, it borrows trouble from the future and makes you carry it today. But notice what he's really saying. Tomorrow will worry about itself. Tomorrow has its own grace waiting for it. Tomorrow has its own strength prepared. Tomorrow has its own wisdom ready. You don't have to solve tomorrow's problems with today's resources. You don't have to figure out next month's challenges with this moment's understanding. Each day, including tomorrow when it arrives, will have what it needs. Each day has enough trouble of its own. This isn't pessimism, it's realism mixed with hope. Today has real challenges, yes, but it also has real grace available. Today has actual difficulties, but it also has actual strength provided. Jesus is saying, focus on today's grace for today's troubles. Don't exhaust yourself trying to handle tomorrow's challenges with today's limited energy. Right now, in this moment, you have exactly what you need to get through this moment. You don't need solutions for every hypothetical future scenario. You just need grace for right now. And that grace is here, available, sufficient. Maybe you're lying here, paralyzed by fear of things going wrong. Your mind keeps cycling through worst-case scenarios, and each one feels not just possible, but inevitable. The fear isn't just emotional, it's physical. Your heart pounds, your palms sweat, your stomach churns. Anxiety has taken up residence in your body, and you feel trapped by its symptoms. David knew this kind of paralyzing fear. In Psalm 56, verses 3 and 4, he wrote, "When I am afraid, I put my trust in you, in God, whose word I praise. In God I trust and am not afraid. What can mere mortals do to me? When I am afraid. Not if, when." David acknowledges that fear is part of the human experience. He doesn't pretend to be beyond anxiety or above worry. He says, when fear comes, and it will come, here's what I do. I put my trust in you. This is active, present tense, not I tried to trust or I hope to trust someday, but I put, right now, in this moment of fear, I actively place my trust in God. It's a conscious choice made in the middle of anxiety, not a feeling that magically appears. Trust isn't the absence of fear. Trust is what you do with fear when it shows up. It's saying, I feel afraid, and I choose to believe God is bigger than this fear. It's holding both realities at the same time. The fear is real, and God's faithfulness is more real. What can mere mortals do to me? This isn't arrogance, it's perspective. When you're anchored in God's love and protection, even the worst things people can do to you cannot touch what matters most about you. They cannot steal your identity, your worth, your destiny, or your relationship with God. Anxiety often magnifies human threats and minimizes God's power. David is choosing to see things from God's perspective. Perhaps you're overwhelmed by the sheer number of things you're anxious about. It's not just one worry, it's dozens of them, all competing for your attention, all demanding to be solved immediately. You feel like you're drowning in your own thoughts, unable to prioritize or even think clearly about any one concern. Jesus addresses this mental chaos in Matthew 6, verses 25 through 26. Therefore I tell you, do not worry about your life, what you will eat or drink, or about your body, what you will wear. Is not life more than food, and the body more than clothes? Look at the birds of the air. They do not sow or reap or store away in barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not much more valuable than they? Jesus starts with the basics: food, drink, clothing. These are legitimate needs, real concerns. He's not dismissing practical worries as unimportant, but he's inviting you to see them in context. Life is more than the logistics of survival. You are more than the sum of your needs and concerns. Look at the birds. This isn't just a pretty metaphor. Go outside tomorrow and actually watch birds. They don't carry calendars or retirement plans. They don't lie awake at night worrying about winter or obsessing over where their next meal will come from. And yet, they're fed, they're cared for, they thrive. Are you not much more valuable than they? You are not just another creature hoping to survive. You are a beloved child of the Creator, made in His image, cherished beyond measure. If He pays attention to the needs of sparrows, how much more is He attentive to your needs? If He provides for creatures that can't even pray, how much more will He provide for you, His precious child who can call Him Father? This doesn't mean you shouldn't plan or be responsible. It means you don't have to carry the crushing weight of figuring out every detail of your future. Some things can be planned. Other things must be trusted. Anxiety tries to convince you that everything depends on your ability to control and manage. Jesus reminds you that you're held by someone who manages the universe with perfect wisdom and love. Maybe you're anxious because you feel completely out of control. Life has thrown you curveballs you never saw coming, and now you're hypervigilant, trying to anticipate and prevent every possible future disaster. You're exhausted from trying to manage outcomes you have no power over, but you can't seem to stop trying. King Solomon, in all his wisdom, understood this struggle. In Ecclesiastes 3, verses 1 through 3, he wrote, "There is a time for everything, and a season for every activity under the heavens, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to uproot, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to tear down and a time to build. A time for everything, not everything all at once, not your timing for everything, but the right timing for each thing. Some things in your life are in the planting season, others are in the harvesting season. Some areas are in the building phase, others are in the tearing down phase. You don't have to force everything into the same season or rush every process to completion. A season for every activity. Seasons have their own rhythm, their own purpose, their own beauty. You don't judge winter for not being spring or criticize fall for not being summer. Each season serves its purpose in the greater cycle of life. The anxious season you're in right now, it too has a purpose. It's not permanent, it's not punishment, and it's not pointless. You cannot control which season you're in, but you can trust that the one who ordained seasons knows what He's doing in your life. The God who brings spring after every winter is the same God writing your story. What feels like endless winter in your soul will give way to spring. What looks like death in your circumstances is preparing ground for new life. Perhaps your anxiety centers around feeling inadequate, like you're not enough, not smart enough, strong enough, good enough to handle what life is throwing at you. You compare yourself to others who seem to have it all figured out, and you feel like you're failing at this basic task of being human. David struggled with these same feelings of inadequacy. In Psalm 139, verses 13 through 16, he found perspective that transformed his self-doubt. "For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in the secret place, when I was woven together in the depths of the earth. Your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be. You knit me together. You weren't mass-produced or randomly assembled. You were carefully, intentionally, lovingly knitted together by the hands of God. Every aspect of who you are, including your sensitive nervous system that feels anxiety so deeply, was purposefully designed by infinite wisdom. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Fearfully doesn't mean scary. It means awe-inspiring. The complexity of who you are, the intricacy of your mind and heart and spirit, the way you're wired to feel and think and love. It's all wonderful in the truest sense of the word. It fills God with wonder. Even your struggle with anxiety doesn't disqualify you from being wonderfully made. Your tender heart that feels things so deeply, your mind that processes possibilities so thoroughly, your spirit that longs for security and peace. These aren't design flaws. They're part of how you're fearfully and wonderfully made. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be. This includes today. This includes this anxious season. This includes this sleepless night. None of this caught God by surprise. He saw this day coming before you were born, and he prepared grace for it. He wrote provision into this chapter of your story before you ever lived it. Maybe you're anxious about disappointing people, about not meeting expectations, about letting others down. You carry the weight of everyone else's approval, and the fear of losing it keeps you in constant stress. You've become a people pleaser not because you want to, but because you're terrified of rejection. Jesus understood this pressure. In John 12, verses 42 and 43, he observed, "Yet at the same time, many, even among the leaders, believed in him. But because of the Pharisees they would not openly acknowledge their faith, for fear they would be put out of the synagogue. For they loved human praise more than praise from God." They loved human praise more than praise from God. This isn't condemnation, it's compassionate observation. Jesus understands the powerful pull of human approval, the fear of rejection, the anxiety that comes from trying to manage everyone's opinion of you. But here's what he's gently pointing out. You have a choice about whose approval matters most. Human praise is fickle, conditional, and exhausting to maintain. People's expectations are constantly shifting, often unrealistic, and sometimes downright toxic. When you live for human approval, you're trying to satisfy an audience that will never be fully satisfied. God's approval of you isn't based on your performance, it's based on his love. It doesn't fluctuate with your successes or failures. It doesn't disappear when you have an anxious day or struggle to be perfect. His approval was settled before you were born, sealed when Jesus died for you, and guaranteed by his unchanging character. This doesn't mean relationships don't matter or that you shouldn't care about treating people well. It means you don't have to live in the exhausting prison of trying to control what everyone thinks about you. Some people will misunderstand you, and that's okay. Some people will be disappointed in your choices, and you can survive that. What matters most is that you're living in alignment with God's love and purposes for your life. Perhaps you're lying here anxious about your future, about whether you'll be able to handle whatever comes next. You look ahead and see potential challenges, and you wonder if you'll have what it takes. The unknown feels threatening rather than hopeful. Isaiah 41, verses 13 through 14, speak directly to this fear of the future. "For I am the Lord your God who takes hold of your right hand and says to you, 'Do not fear, I will help you. Do not be afraid, you worm Jacob, you little Israel, do not fear, for I myself will help you,' declares the Lord, your Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. I am the Lord your God, who takes hold of your right hand." Picture this, God reaching out and taking your hand in his, not just offering his hand for you to grab if you're strong enough, but actively taking hold of yours. Your anxious, trembling, weak hand is held firmly in his strong, steady, unshakable grip. Do not fear, I will help you. Future tense. Not, I might help if you deserve it, or I helped once and that should be enough, but I will help you. Whatever is coming, whatever challenges lie ahead, whatever difficulties you might face, you won't face them alone. Help is guaranteed. You worm Jacob, you little Israel. This sounds insulting until you understand the context. Jacob was weak, small, seemingly insignificant compared to the nations around him. He had no natural strength or power, and yet God chose him, blessed him, protected him, and used him to birth a great nation. God specializes in taking weak, small, seemingly insignificant people and doing extraordinary things through them. Your anxiety doesn't disqualify you from God's help. Your weakness doesn't make you unworthy of His assistance. Your struggles don't put you beyond His care. In fact, it's often in our weakest moments that His strength shows up most powerfully. You don't have to be strong enough for your future. You just need to stay connected to the One who is. You don't need to have all the answers for what's coming. You just need to trust the One who holds all wisdom. You don't need to figure out how you'll handle future challenges. You just need to receive grace for today and trust that when tomorrow comes, tomorrow's grace will be there too. These anxious thoughts swirling in your mind right now, they don't have to have the final word. These fears about the future, they don't get to define your reality. These worries about not being enough, they're lies that lose their power when exposed to the truth of who God says you are and how much He loves you. As we continue this journey together through the Psalms, let these truths sink deeper than your anxiety. Let them reach places in your heart that worry cannot touch. You are held, you are helped, and you are loved beyond measure. You're wondering if things will ever get better, aren't you? If this overwhelming anxiety will ever ease, if your mind will ever feel peaceful again, if you'll ever be able to face the future without this crushing weight of worry. Tonight, you need to hear not just encouragement, but actual promises, solid, unshakable guarantees from the God who keeps His word. Listen to this promise God made, not to someone else but to you. Jeremiah 29, verse 11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. I know the plans I have for you. Not vague intentions, not general ideas, not maybe plans. Specific, detailed, carefully designed plans. God isn't making up your future as He goes along. He isn't scrambling to figure out what to do with your anxiety, your struggles, your complicated life. He has plans, good plans, that He's known since before you were born. Plans to prosper you. This doesn't necessarily mean financial wealth, though it could include that. It means plans for your overall well-being, your flourishing, your growth into who you're meant to be. Even this anxious season you're walking through right now, it's not outside of His plans for your prosperity. Somehow, in ways you can't see yet, He's going to use even your struggles to help you flourish, and not to harm you. Your anxiety whispers that God might be punishing you, that maybe you deserve this suffering, that perhaps He's angry with you. This promise crushes those lies. His plans are specifically designed not to harm you. Even when circumstances are difficult, even when you're walking through valleys of fear and uncertainty, His ultimate purpose is never to damage you, but to bless you. Plans to give you hope and a future. Not just survival, but hope. Not just getting by, but having something to look forward to. Your anxiety tries to steal your future by convincing you that terrible things are inevitable. God promises that your future is actually filled with hope. There are good things coming that you can't even imagine yet. Maybe your life feels completely chaotic right now. Nothing makes sense, Everything seems random and scary, and you can't see any purpose or pattern in what you're going through. You're beginning to wonder if God has lost control, if maybe he doesn't really have a plan after all. Listen to this promise from Romans 8, verse 28. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. In all things. Not just in the good things, not just in the easy things, not just in the things that make sense. In all things, including your anxiety, including your sleepless nights, including your overwhelming fears, including your darkest moments. There is nothing happening in your life right now that God cannot work for good. God works. Present tense, active, ongoing. He's not sitting back passively watching your life unfold. He's actively working, orchestrating, weaving, coordinating circumstances in ways you can't see. Even when everything feels random and chaotic, there's an intelligent, loving mind behind the scenes working purposefully in your situation. For the good. Not for your comfort necessarily, though he cares about that too. Not for your convenience, though he's mindful of your needs. But for your ultimate good, your growth, your character development, your deeper relationship with him, your ability to help others who will face similar struggles. This doesn't mean that everything that happens to you is good. It means that God is so powerful, so wise, so creative that he can take even bad things and work them into good outcomes. He's like a master weaver who can take broken threads and somehow weave them into a beautiful pattern. Those who love him. This isn't about perfect love or constant feelings of affection. This is about your heart's direction, your fundamental choice to trust him even when you don't understand. Even when anxiety makes it hard to feel anything, if your heart is turned toward him, this promise applies to you. Perhaps you feel like you're drowning in your circumstances. The anxiety feels so overwhelming, the future so uncertain, that you wonder if you'll survive this season. You feel like you're going under, unable to catch your breath, unable to find solid ground. Isaiah spoke to this exact fear in chapter 43, verse 2. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you. And when you pass through the rivers, they will not sweep you over. When you walk through the fire, you will not be burned. The flames will not set you ablaze. When you pass through. Not if you might possibly face difficulties, but when you do. God doesn't promise a life free from trouble, but he promises something better. His presence in the trouble. You're not going to avoid the waters and the fire. You're going to pass through them with him. I will be with you. Not watching from a distance, not cheering you on from the sidelines, but right there with you, in the middle of whatever you're facing. In the deepest waters of anxiety, he's there. In the hottest fires of fear and uncertainty, he's there. You are never alone in your struggles. The waters will not sweep you over. This is a specific promise about overwhelming circumstances. When anxiety feels like a flood that's going to drown you, when fear feels like a raging river that's going to carry you away, God promises that you will not go under. You might feel like you're barely keeping your head above water, but you will not be swept away. You will not be burned. The fire represents intense pressure, painful circumstances, seasons that feel like they might destroy you. God promises that while you might walk through the fire, while you might feel the heat, the flames will not consume you. What feels like it might destroy you will not have the final word. This means your anxiety, as overwhelming as it feels, will not destroy you. This season of fear and uncertainty, as painful as it is, will not be the end of your story. You are going to pass through this, and you're going to pass through it with him. Maybe the pain you're feeling seems too intense to bear. You're not just dealing with anxiety, you're dealing with heartbreak, loss, disappointment, that compounds your worry and makes everything feel heavier. You wonder how anyone survives this level of emotional pain. Paul understood this kind of overwhelming suffering. In 2 Corinthians 4 verse 17 he wrote, "For our light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all." Light and momentary. This might sound insulting when you're in the middle of intense anxiety and pain. Paul isn't minimizing your suffering. He's putting it in perspective. Compared to eternity, compared to the glory that's coming, compared to the weight of God's love for you, even your heaviest troubles are light. Even your longest season of anxiety is momentary in the context of forever, are achieving for us. Your troubles aren't just random suffering. They're not pointless pain. They're achieving something. They're working toward a purpose. They're producing something valuable that couldn't be produced any other way. An eternal glory. This isn't just about heaven someday, though it includes that. This is about a weight of glory, a depth of character, a richness of compassion, a strength of faith that your struggles are producing in you right now. The very things that are causing you pain are also creating something beautiful in your character. That far outweighs them all. The good that comes from your struggles will be so much greater than the pain of the struggles themselves. It's like a woman in labor. The pain is real and intense, but the joy of the baby far outweighs the pain of the birth. What God is birthing in you through this difficult season will far outweigh the difficulty of the season itself. Perhaps you feel like you're failing at life, like you're not making progress, like you're stuck in this cycle of anxiety and can't break free. You look at where you are and wonder if God has given up on you, if maybe you're too broken for Him to work with. Listen to this promise from Philippians 1, verse 6. "Being confident of this, that He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus." He who began a good work in you, God started something in your life. Your existence isn't an accident. Your struggles aren't evidence that He made a mistake when He created you. He began something good when He made you, when He called you, when He drew you to Himself. Will carry it on to completion. Not might, not maybe, not if you get your act together. Will. This is a guarantee. God doesn't start projects He doesn't finish. He doesn't begin good works that He abandons halfway through. What He started in you, He will complete. Until the day of Christ Jesus. This is a lifetime commitment. God isn't just going to work on you for a little while and then give up if you don't progress fast enough. He's committed to your growth and healing and wholeness for your entire life. Every day between now and eternity, He's working on the good work He began in you. This means your anxiety doesn't disqualify you from His work in your life. Your struggles don't make you a lost cause. Your setbacks don't mean He's giving up on you. Even this difficult season is part of the good work He's doing in you. He's not finished with you yet. Maybe you're in one of the darkest seasons of your life. You can't remember the last time you felt truly happy, truly at peace, truly hopeful. You wonder if joy will ever return, if this heaviness will ever lift, if the sun will ever shine in your heart again. David knew this darkness intimately. In Psalm 30, verse 5, he wrote, "Weeping may stay for the night, but rejoicing comes in the morning." Weeping may stay for the night. God acknowledges that some seasons of sorrow are longer than we'd like. Some nights of weeping stretch on and on. Some seasons of anxiety and pain feel endless. God doesn't minimize this or rush you through it. He says weeping may stay for the night, but rejoicing comes in the morning. This is a promise, not a possibility. Morning is coming. Joy is coming. Relief is coming. The weeping has an expiration date, but the joy that follows is renewable. This isn't just wishful thinking. It's a guarantee from the God who controls the rhythm of night and day, sorrow and joy, weeping and laughter. Morning might not come as quickly as you'd like. It might not look exactly like you expect, but it's coming. The darkness you're in right now is not permanent. The anxiety that feels so overwhelming is not forever. Joy really is coming in the morning. Perhaps you're exhausted from fighting, tired of struggling, worn out from trying to manage your anxiety and failing again and again. You feel weak, depleted, like you have nothing left to give. Isaiah 40, verse 31, has a promise specifically for your weariness. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. Will renew their strength. Not just receive a little boost, but completely renew. Like getting a fresh battery, a new engine, a total restoration of energy and power. Your strength will be renewed, not through your own willpower, but through hoping in the Lord. Soar on wings like eagles. Eagles don't just fly, they soar. They ride the wind currents effortlessly, rising higher and higher without flapping frantically. You're going to soar above these circumstances that feel so overwhelming right now. You're going to rise above this anxiety that feels so heavy. Run and not grow weary. Walk and not be faint. This is stamina for the long haul, not just a burst of energy that quickly fades, but sustained strength for whatever distance lies ahead. Whether you need to run through challenges or walk through a long valley, you'll have the strength you need. Those who hope in the Lord. Hope isn't just positive thinking. Hope is confident expectation based on God's character and promises. When you anchor your hope in Him rather than in your circumstances, when you expect Him to be faithful because He always has been, that hope becomes the source of renewed strength. Finally, you need to hear this promise about mercy and fresh starts. Maybe you feel like you've used up all your chances, made too many mistakes, failed too many times. You wonder if God is tired of you, if maybe His patience has run out. Lamentations 3, verses 22 and 23. Because of the Lord's great love, we are not consumed, for His compassions never fail. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. Because of the Lord's great love. Not small love, not conditional love, not love that runs out when you disappoint Him. Great love, vast love, inexhaustible love. Love that's bigger than your biggest failure, stronger than your strongest anxiety, more persistent than your most stubborn fear. We are not consumed. You haven't been destroyed by your struggles. You haven't been consumed by your anxiety. You haven't been eaten alive by your fears. Why? Because His love is protecting you, preserving you, keeping you from being consumed. His compassions never fail. They don't run out. They don't diminish. They don't get used up. No matter how many times you need them, no matter how many mistakes you make, no matter how many anxious nights you have, His compassions never fail. They are new every morning. Fresh mercy, fresh compassion, fresh grace, fresh strength, fresh hope, every single morning, including this morning, including tomorrow morning. You get a completely new supply of everything you need to face the day. These aren't just beautiful words meant to make you feel better temporarily. These are promises from the God who cannot lie, who has never broken a promise, who is the same yesterday, today, and forever. What He promises, He performs. What He speaks, He fulfills. What He commits to, He completes. Your anxious heart can rest in these promises tonight. Your worried mind can anchor itself in these truths. Your fearful spirit can find safety in these guarantees. You are not just hoping these things might be true. You are receiving promises that are true, that will be fulfilled, that are as certain as God's own character. Rest in these promises. Let them sink deeper than your anxiety. Let them speak louder than your fears. Let them shine brighter than your darkest thoughts. You are loved, you are held, and every one of these promises belongs to you. I know it's hard to have faith right now. When you're drowning in anxiety, when your mind won't stop racing, when fear has taken up residence in your chest, believing in anything good feels almost impossible, doesn't it? Faith feels like a luxury you can't afford when you're just trying to survive each moment of worry and panic. But listen to what happened when a desperate father brought his tormented son to Jesus in Mark 9, verse 24. Immediately the boy's father exclaimed, "I do believe. Help me overcome my unbelief." Do you hear that? Belief and unbelief in the same breath. Faith and doubt wrestling together in one honest cry. And Jesus didn't rebuke him for his mixed-up faith. Jesus didn't say, "Come back when you believe properly." Jesus honored that messy, desperate, honest prayer and healed the boy. I do believe. There's some faith there, even if it's small. Even in your anxiety, even in your fear, there's probably some tiny seed of belief that brought you here tonight, that made you listen to these words, that keeps you hoping that maybe, just maybe, God really does care about you. Help me overcome my unbelief. This father knew that doubt was real too. He wasn't pretending to have perfect faith. He was saying, "Jesus, I want to believe more than I do. I want to trust more than I'm able to right now. Help me." That's exactly where you can be tonight. You don't need perfect faith. You don't need to have all your doubts resolved. You just need to bring whatever faith you have, however small, however shaky, and ask Jesus to help with the rest. He's not offended by your questions. He's not threatened by your struggles to believe. He specializes in working with imperfect faith. Maybe you're struggling to believe that God really hears you. Your prayers feel like they're bouncing off the ceiling, disappearing into empty space. You've prayed about your anxiety so many times that you wonder if God has stopped listening, if maybe he's tired of the same requests over and over. The writer of Hebrews understood this struggle. In chapter 11, verse 1, we find this definition. Now faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see. Faith is. Not faith will be someday when you understand everything. Not faith might be if you can work up enough positive feelings. Faith is, right now, in this moment, exactly as you are. Faith isn't a feeling you have to manufacture. It's a confident certainty that exists independent of your emotions. Confidence in what we hope for. You hope that God hears your prayers, even when it doesn't feel like it. You hope that he cares about your anxiety, even when relief hasn't come yet. You hope that he has good plans for you, even when the future looks scary. That hope, that is faith. Confidence in those hopes, is faith, even when you can't see evidence yet. Assurance about what we do not see. You cannot see God working behind the scenes in your situation, but you can have assurance that he is. You cannot see the purpose in your struggles, but you can have assurance that there is one. You cannot see how things will work out, but you can have assurance that he's working them out for good. Faith isn't the absence of doubt. Faith is choosing to believe God's promises even when your feelings, your circumstances, and your anxiety are all telling you something different. It's saying, I can't see it, but I choose to believe it. I can't feel it, but I choose to trust it. I don't understand it, but I choose to rest in it. Perhaps your faith feels incredibly weak right now. You look at other people who seem to trust God so easily, who quote Bible verses with confidence, who never seem to struggle with doubt the way you do. You feel like your faith is pathetic in comparison, like God must be, disappointed in how little you believe. Listen to what Jesus said about small faith in Matthew 17, verse 20. Truly I tell you, if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, "Move from here to there," and it will move. Nothing will be impossible for you. Faith as small as a mustard seed. A mustard seed is tiny, almost impossibly small. You can barely see it. You could lose it in your palm. Jesus is saying that the size of your faith matters far less than the object of your faith. It's not about having huge faith. It's about having faith in a huge God. Your faith might feel microscopic right now, especially when you're battling anxiety. That's okay. That tiny seed of faith is enough. That small belief that brought you here tonight is enough. That whisper of hope in your heart that maybe God really does love you, that's enough. You can say to this mountain, "Move from here to there," and it will move. The mountain of anxiety that feels so immovable, so permanent, so overwhelming, even your mustard seed faith has the power to move it. Not through your strength, but through the God your faith is connected to. Nothing will be impossible for you. This doesn't mean you can have anything you want. It means that with God, the impossible things become possible. It seems impossible that your anxious heart could ever find peace. It seems impossible that your racing mind could ever be still. It seems impossible that you could ever sleep soundly again. But nothing is impossible when small faith connects with infinite power. Maybe you're struggling to believe that the promises in the Bible actually apply to you. You can accept that God loves people in general, that He has good plans for others, that He answers prayers for those who deserve it. But applying these promises to yourself feels presumptuous, especially when you're such a mess. Paul addressed this directly in Romans 10, verse 17. Consequently, faith comes from hearing the message, and the message is heard through the word about Christ. Faith comes from hearing the message. Faith isn't something you have to work up from inside yourself. It's not something you have to deserve or earn. Faith comes to you as you hear about who God is and what He's done. Every word you're hearing tonight, every promise you're receiving, faith is coming to you through these words. The message is heard through the word about Christ. The message isn't just information about God, it's the good news about what Christ has done for you. He took your sin so you could have His righteousness. He took your punishment so you could have His peace. He took your anxiety and fear on the cross so you could have His rest and joy. This means that every promise of peace, every guarantee of love, every assurance of care, they all belong to you not because you've earned them, but because Christ earned them for you. When anxiety tells you that you don't deserve God's help, remember that it's not about what you deserve. It's about what Christ deserves. And He deserves perfect love and perfect peace. And He shares them with you. As you hear these words tonight, faith is actually growing in your heart. You might not feel it happening, but it is. The very fact that you're listening, that you're hoping, that you're staying open to the possibility that God loves you, that is faith growing. Perhaps you struggle to believe in what you cannot see. You need tangible proof, visible evidence, something concrete to hold on to. The invisible nature of God's love and care feels too abstract when your anxiety is so physical, so real, so immediate. Paul understood this challenge. In 2 Corinthians 5, verse 7, he wrote, "For we live by faith, not by sight." We live by faith, not by sight. Paul isn't saying that what you can see doesn't matter or that your physical experience of anxiety isn't real. He's saying that there's more to reality than what your eyes can see or your feelings can detect. You can see your anxiety symptoms. You can see your circumstances. You can see reasons to worry. But faith gives you access to invisible realities that are more real than what you can see. You cannot see God's love, but it's more real than your anxiety. You cannot see His plan for your good, but it's more real than your circumstances. You cannot see his angels watching over you, but they're more real than your fears. Living by faith means making decisions based on what God says is true rather than only on what you can see or feel in the moment. When anxiety says, "You're in danger," faith says, "You are safe in God's hands." When worry says, "The future is uncertain," faith says, "God holds your future." When fear says, "You're alone," faith says, "You are never alone." This isn't about denying your experience or pretending your anxiety isn't real. It's about choosing to believe that God's truth is more real than your anxiety, that His promises are more reliable than your fears, that His love is more powerful than your worry. Maybe you wonder if anyone else in the Bible ever struggled with faith the way you do. You read about heroes of faith and wonder if they ever had panic attacks, sleepless nights, or seasons when believing felt impossible. The answer is found throughout Hebrews 11, which tells the stories of people whose faith we celebrate. But notice what it says in verse 39 and 40. These were all commended for their faith, yet none of them received what had been promised, since God had planned something better for us, so that only together with us would they be made perfect. These were all commended for their faith, yet none of them received what had been promised. They didn't see all their prayers answered. They didn't experience perfect peace in their lifetimes. They didn't get to see how all their struggles worked together for good. They lived with unanswered questions, unresolved problems, and ongoing struggles. And yet they were commended for their faith. Not because their faith was perfect or their struggles were minimal, but because they kept choosing to believe even when they couldn't see, even when answers didn't come, even when life remained difficult. Abraham struggled with doubt about God's promises. Sarah laughed at what seemed impossible. Moses questioned his ability to do what God asked. David wrestled with fear and depression. These weren't perfect people with perfect faith. They were people like you, with real struggles and honest doubts, who kept choosing to trust God even when it was hard. Only together with us would they be made perfect. Their story isn't complete without yours. Your struggle with anxiety, your wrestle with faith, your journey toward trusting God, it's part of the same story they were living. They didn't have it all figured out, and you don't have to either. Perhaps you're waiting for God to prove Himself to you before you'll really believe. You want Him to remove your anxiety, fix your circumstances, or give you some undeniable sign before you'll trust Him completely. Abraham's story in Romans 4, verses 20 and 21, addresses this. Yet he did not waver through unbelief regarding the promise of God, but was strengthened in his faith and gave glory to God, being fully persuaded that God had power to do what He had promised. He did not waver through unbelief. This doesn't mean Abraham never had moments of doubt. It means that ultimately, despite his questions and struggles, he chose to believe. He didn't let doubt have the final word, but was strengthened in his faith. Faith isn't a static thing that you either have or don't have. It's dynamic. It grows. It gets stronger. Even when you start with weak faith, it can be strengthened as you choose to believe, as you hear God's promises, as you remember His faithfulness, being fully persuaded that God had power to do what He had promised. Abraham became convinced not just that God's promises were nice ideas, but that God actually had the power to fulfill them. The same God who has the power to keep every promise He's ever made has the power to keep the promises He's made to you. He has the power to give you peace in the middle of anxiety. He has the power to calm your racing heart. He has the power to quiet your worried thoughts. He has the power to work all things together for your good. He has the power to carry you through whatever you're facing. The question isn't whether He has the power. He absolutely does. The question is whether you'll choose to believe it. Finally, maybe you feel like you've struggled with doubt for so long that you're afraid God has given up on you. You think maybe there's a limit to how patient He'll be with your questions and fears. Listen to David's honest prayer in Psalm 13, verses 1 through 5. How long, Lord, will you forget me forever? How long will you hide your face from me? How long must I wrestle with my thoughts, and day after day have sorrow in my heart? How long will my enemy triumph over me? Look on me and answer, Lord my God. Give light to my eyes, or I will sleep in death. Or my enemy will say, I have overcome him, and my foes will rejoice when I fall. But I trust in your unfailing love. My heart rejoices in your salvation. How long, Lord? 4 times David asks this question. He's frustrated, desperate, feeling forgotten. Does God rebuke him for questioning? Does God punish him for expressing doubt? No. This prayer is included in Scripture as a model for how to bring our struggles honestly to God. Will you forget me forever? This is the heart cry of everyone who struggles with anxiety and depression. Am I forgotten? Have you given up on me? Are you tired of me? David felt this, and God didn't condemn him for it. How long must I wrestle with my thoughts? David struggled with racing thoughts, anxious days, sorrowful heart. Just like you, he didn't have perfect faith. He had wrestling faith, questioning faith, desperate faith, and God honored it. But I trust in your unfailing love. After all the questions, after all the doubts, after all the wrestling, David makes a choice. He chooses to trust, not because he understands everything, but because God's love is unfailing, not because all his questions are answered, but because God's character is trustworthy. You can wrestle with God. You can bring him your doubts. You can ask him your hard questions. You can tell him about your struggles to believe. He's not fragile. He's not offended. He's not going anywhere. Your honest faith, your wrestling faith, your question-filled faith, it's still faith, and he honors it. Tonight, whatever faith you have is enough. Whatever belief you can muster is sufficient. Bring your mustard seed faith, your wrestling faith, your doubt-filled faith to him. He will meet you there and strengthen what you have. Faith isn't about being perfect. It's about being honest, being willing, and being open to let him do what only he can do. Your mind has been racing all day, hasn't it? Even now, as you try to rest, thoughts keep coming. What if this? What if that? What about tomorrow? What about next week? The anxiety feels relentless, like a storm that refuses to move on. But Jesus spoke about this exact kind of mental and spiritual exhaustion. In Matthew 11, verses 28 through 30, he said, Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy, and my burden is light. Come as you are, weary, burdened, anxious, overwhelmed. Don't try to clean yourself up first. Don't wait until you feel better. Come right now, exactly as you are, and he will give you rest. Not just physical sleep, though that's part of it. Soul rest. The kind of rest that reaches deeper than your mind, deeper than your racing thoughts, deeper than your anxious heart. Take my yoke upon you. A yoke connects 2 animals so they can work together, with the stronger one carrying most of the load. Jesus is saying, let's do this together. Stop trying to carry your anxiety alone. Stop trying to figure everything out by yourself. Let me help carry what you cannot carry. Maybe you're afraid to fall asleep because that's when the anxiety feels worst. The moment you close your eyes, every worry comes flooding in. Your heart races, your breathing becomes shallow, and you feel anything but peaceful. You wonder if you'll ever be able to rest without this crushing weight of fear. Listen to what Paul wrote in Philippians 4, verses 6 and 7. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God, and the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. Do not be anxious about anything. This isn't a command to feel differently. It's an invitation to handle anxiety differently. Instead of carrying your worries alone, instead of trying to solve everything in your mind, present your requests to God. Tell Him exactly what you're afraid of. Name your fears. Voice your concerns. He wants to hear it all. The peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds. This peace isn't something you have to understand or figure out. It transcends understanding. It's bigger than logic, beyond analysis, and it will guard you like a soldier guards a fortress. Your heart and mind will be protected by supernatural peace. Right now, let your breathing begin to slow. Feel the weight of your body sinking into rest. You don't have to solve anything tonight. You don't have to figure anything out. The peace that guards is already surrounding you. Perhaps your heart feels troubled by uncertainty about the future. You don't know what's coming, and the unknown feels threatening rather than hopeful. Every possible scenario your mind creates seems scary, and you can't find solid ground to stand on. Jesus spoke directly to troubled hearts in John 14, verse 27. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid. My peace I give you. This isn't temporary peace that depends on circumstances. This isn't fragile peace that disappears when things get difficult. This is Jesus' own peace. The peace He carried even when facing the cross. The peace that remained steady even in His darkest hour. I do not give to you as the world gives. The world's peace is conditional, temporary, dependent on everything going right. Jesus' peace is unconditional, permanent, available even when everything goes wrong. The world says, I'll give you peace when your problems are solved. Jesus says, I give you peace in the middle of your problems. Let your shoulders drop now. Release the tension you've been carrying. Feel your face soften, your jaw unclench. This peace He offers is settling over you like a warm blanket, covering every anxious thought, every worried place in your heart. Maybe you don't feel safe enough to really rest. Your nervous system is on high alert, scanning for threats, unable to truly relax. You've been in survival mode for so long that your body has forgotten how to feel safe. David knew this feeling well. In Psalm 4, verse 8, he wrote, In peace I will lie down and sleep, for you alone, Lord, make me dwell in safety. In peace I will lie down and sleep, not I hope to sleep, or maybe I'll be able to rest, but I will lie down and sleep. This is a decision based on trust, not on feelings. David chose to rest because he knew who was watching over him. For you alone, Lord, make me dwell in safety. True safety doesn't come from having all the right locks on your doors or all the right plans in place. True safety comes from dwelling in the care of the one who never sleeps, who never fails to watch over His children. You can lie down in peace tonight because someone who never grows tired is watching over you. Someone who has all power and all wisdom is standing guard. You are safer than you realize, more protected than you feel, more secure than your anxiety wants you to believe. Let your eyes grow heavy now. Feel the safe tiredness that comes when you finally allow yourself to rest. Your body knows how to sleep. Your mind knows how to be still. You just need to give yourself permission to let go. Perhaps your thoughts keep racing because you're trying to maintain control, trying to think through every possibility, trying to manage outcomes you have no power over. Your mind won't rest because it feels responsible for everything. Isaiah spoke peace to this kind of mental exhaustion in chapter 26, verse 3. You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast, because they trust in you. You will keep in perfect peace. Not partial peace, not temporary peace, but perfect peace. Complete peace, peace that covers every area of your mind, every worried thought, every anxious scenario your imagination creates. Those whose minds are steadfast because they trust in you. A steadfast mind isn't a mind that never has anxious thoughts. It's a mind that keeps returning to trust when those thoughts arise. When worry comes, you return to trust. When fear whispers, you return to his faithfulness. When anxiety shouts, you return to his love. Right now, let your mind become steadfast on this truth. You are loved beyond measure, held by infinite strength, watched over by perfect wisdom. Let these truths be the anchor your mind returns to when it tries to wander into worry. Your breathing is naturally slowing now, in and out, in and out. Each breath is releasing tension. Each exhale is letting go of what you cannot control. You are learning to rest in someone who controls all things with perfect love. Maybe you feel driven to keep striving, keep working, keep trying to earn your worth and security. You can't seem to stop long enough to rest because rest feels lazy, unproductive, dangerous. You're afraid that if you stop working so hard, everything will fall apart. Listen to this gentle truth from Psalm 127, verse 2. In vain you rise early and stay up late, toiling for food to eat, for he grants sleep to those he loves. In vain you rise early and stay up late. All that striving, all that worrying, all that trying to control outcomes through sheer effort, it's in vain. It's not necessary. You don't have to earn God's care through your anxiety. You don't have to deserve his provision through your worry. He grants sleep to those he loves. Sleep is a gift from someone who loves you. Rest is not earned, it's granted. Peace is not achieved, it's received. You don't have to qualify for the right to rest. You can rest because you are loved. Feel your body growing heavier now, sinking deeper into comfort. Let the weight of trying to control everything lift off your shoulders. You are not responsible for outcomes you cannot control. You are only responsible for receiving the love and rest that are freely offered to you. Now we come to the place of deepest rest, the quiet waters where your soul can finally be still. Let the pace of these words slow with your heart rate. Let the space between thoughts grow longer. Let peace settle into every corner of your being. David painted this picture in Psalm 23, verses 2 and 3. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He refreshes my soul. Green pastures. Can you picture them? Soft, safe, abundant, peaceful. This is where he makes you lie down, not forces you, but gently leads you to a place where rest is natural, where peace is the atmosphere, where your soul can finally exhale. Quiet waters, still, clear, refreshing. No rushing, no noise, no turbulence, just gentle, life-giving stillness. Let your mind become like these quiet waters, still, peaceful, reflecting only his love, his care, his presence. He refreshes your soul, not just your body, not just your mind, but your very soul, the deepest part of you that has been so tired, so anxious, so afraid. It's being refreshed right now by quiet waters, by green pastures, by his presence. You are so tired of being strong, aren't you? Tired of managing anxiety, tired of fighting worry. tired of trying to be brave. You can stop being strong now. Someone infinitely stronger is being strong for you. Psalm 121, verses 3 and 4. He will not let your foot slip. He who watches over you will not slumber. Indeed, he who watches over Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. He will not slumber. He will not sleep. While you rest, he watches. While you surrender to sleep, he remains alert. While you let go of control, he maintains perfect control. You can sleep because he does not sleep. You can rest because he does not rest. Your foot will not slip. You will not fall through the cracks. You will not be forgotten or overlooked. The one who watches over you is completely attentive, perfectly faithful, utterly reliable. Let your breathing become slower, deeper, more peaceful. In and out. In and out. Each breath is a small surrender. Each exhale is letting go. Each inhale is receiving his peace. Feel your heartbeat beginning to slow, to steady, to find its natural, peaceful rhythm. Your heart is safe to slow down now, safe to rest, safe to beat with the quiet confidence of being completely loved and completely protected. Perhaps there's still one more place that needs to hear this before you drift into sleep. The place that feels lonely, forgotten, too much trouble for anyone to really love. Listen to this whisper from Zephaniah 3, verse 17. The Lord your God is with you, the mighty warrior who saves. He will take great delight in you. In his love he will no longer rebuke you, but will quiet you with his love. He will quiet you with his love. Not with force, not with demands to be different, but with love. Right now, his love is settling over your anxious heart like a gentle song, like a mother's lullaby, like the most peaceful music your soul has ever heard. He takes great delight in you. Yes, you, exactly as you are. Anxiety and all, struggles and all, imperfections and all. You bring him delight. You bring him joy. You are not a burden to him. You are a treasure. Finally, as your eyes grow heavy and your mind grows quiet and your heart grows peaceful, receive this promise from Lamentations 3, verses 22 and 23. Because of the Lord's great love, we are not consumed, for his compassions never fail. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. Tomorrow morning, when you wake, there will be new mercy waiting for you, fresh compassion, renewed strength, restored hope. You don't have to worry about having enough grace for tomorrow, because tomorrow will bring its own fresh supply. Tonight, you can simply rest. Rest in love that will never fail. Rest in arms that will never let you go. Rest in peace that will never be taken from you. You are held. You are loved. You are safe. You can rest now. Let go. Sleep. Rest.